Hey,
Ooh. Live transmission
cool, cool.
started. There we go. Finally.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
just
Now
took us
people
20
who are,
minutes.
oh, it's okay, it's okay.
Wow.
Now it's just people can join if they want. Awesome, people can join. Oh, that's cool.
Awesome.
That's cool. We're transmitting. All right. So, Raphael, want to thank you for spending some time with me online.
Oh, thank you.
And I wanted to share some interesting topics with you this evening. And but first, I know you, of course, from the fruit festival that I went to, and I met you in Austria, and I thought, wow, that's super cool festival over there, and we have the Dutch Fruit Festival coming up. So maybe I can ask you a few questions about yourself first, because people
Sure.
also like to know who we have in front of you. So, Raphael, how old are you? Where do you live? What do you do? How long you're raw?
Okay. So I'm 39. I live in Bavaria, which is South Germany. I'm an automotive engineer and I work in car development at Audi. And I've been raw now for 3 years and like 3, 4 months.
3 years
Yeah,
and 4 months. Well, that's an awesome time. Awesome time. I
yeah.
think I'm being raw for I'm over 5.5. I
Oh,
was really surprised. Like,
oh.
oh my god, I'm only 5.5. Oh, more than 5.5. Wow. Yeah, that's good to hear. So, can you share with me what made you go on this living foods lifestyle?
Yeah, interesting story. I guess it's also interesting for the viewers to start over with the beginning. Um, I grew up as a child of a vegan chef. So my father was pioneering vegan foods early 80s, and both him and my mom did lots of cooking classes and courses and health talks and whatever. And that was basically the situation that me and my two brothers and two sisters grew up with. So it would be quite common for us to sneak into the kitchen of daddy in the evening and ask for a little food. And he would be super busy all the time, but he would make some time to scrap some leftovers for us and to display them really nicely on a plate, and we would feast like kings. So that was the kind of thing how I grew up. Yeah, sadly my father doesn't live anymore, but um a couple of years ago, so precisely, I think, well, I can't say precisely, but maybe like 4.5 years ago or so, my mother starts doing raw vegan. And I'm like, what are you doing? I mean, we all know that vegan is the best that there is, right? So what are you doing? But yeah, she was fascinated about it. She was curious. She wanted to try it out. And I watched very closely for about a year. and
Uh-huh.
um, and also informed myself quite a lot about what all this is. And so I said, okay, I want to try this too. I want to feel it, and I did. So my main motivation to do it was curiosity, and I'm glad I did it. I won't go back. No.
So okay, that's super awesome. So people ask me a lot, Wendy, yeah, my kids are so hard to get in with me on this lifestyle. I have a kid. I am also 39. I have a kid. He's 8. How do you do that? But basically, your mom got you in it, and we're the same age. So that's interesting. Maybe it's just the age that does it. Not the moms that do it. But did she have to persuade you to like try it out, or like how just
No,
2 years before you tried it, right?
I mean, I already before I ate quite a lot of fruit, more than the normal average in society. And for example, I I quite increased my intake of fruit with breakfast. So I had my muesli with maybe 2 or 3 bananas instead of just one, because I liked it that way. I found that it did me well, but I kind of didn't have the freedom to actually see and understand that a meal with just fruit is a complete meal. I kind of
Yeah,
had
yeah,
this idea that you can't do that. You have to do something to fill up. And basically watching my mother do this and seeing that it worked was enough motivation for me, you know. So, and then also
well, it's
meeting other people, you know, and whatever. But that
yeah,
was
but
the
that's
start.
so good to hear, you know, that you yet you also say just like see my mother do it, and that made me want to try it out. I think that's the same for Kian and me. I mean, even though he's younger, like he doesn't see a lot of other things. He hears me talking about it, doing videos, having clients over, and then automatically, okay, he wants to have some chickpeas, like cooked chickpeas, or like it's a kid, he wants to experiment. But when it comes down to it, he's like, no, mom, I'm hungry, like you cannot eat chickpeas when you're hungry. No, 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 no. I'm hungry. I want 2 mangoes and a banana. I need to eat. So I mean, like, I think that for a lot of people watching and watching this video later, it's familiar for them. Like uh, we consider, or me and you, we consider raw foods to be our base, huh? With fruits to be our base, and then from there we have some snacks, and maybe or not. Maybe you're 100,000% raw, maybe you're 99.9% raw. It doesn't matter. It's if you want to inspire your kids, just be the example. Don't tell them what and what not to do, I guess. But I love to see that he considers also like some chickpeas that go in a gigantic salad, and I'm really talking 10 chickpeas, right, in a gigantic salad that he eats every day,
Yeah,
to
to
be
try.
not food but the snack to go in the food.
My father,
So
my father told us kids when we were growing up. He said, "Listen, guys, I'm not going um, to to um, to f- um, to forbid. I'm not going to forbid you to smoke. But if you want to try this out, I'm gonna go with you personally, and we're gonna buy a packet of cigarettes, and we're gonna smoke it together in one go. And then you're gonna throw up, you know, and you're gonna see that it's not good, and then we're gonna leave it." Of course, we never tried, but we kind of liked the idea that my father, you know, would be game enough to actually show us, you know, that this is actually not a good idea. But if
yeah,
you really, 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 really want to try it, go ahead, you know, and I'll be with you, and also to catch you once you crash afterwards.
yeah, no, that's good. And did he do the same with meat, or with like things like made from other animal products, like milk, or do you eat
Actually,
honey? Like,
actually, I did eat meat in my life, maybe like half a dozen meals all in all, to try. And also sometimes when you're invited, you know, where hospitality is simply much more important than food. It is in my perception, from a healthy person standpoint. Hey, Kian, hi. I know this man, Mr. Banana. Um, so yeah, and sometimes my grandma would just, you know, have this idea of, this little Raphael, he really needs to have some proper food, you know. And my grandma had her own hotel, you know, where she did the kitchen. So she knew about good food, you know. That was the highest pleasure for her, to make food for other people. So
yeah,
in those kind of situations, yes, I would sometimes eat meat and just try. But even though it did taste not bad, it tastes good. Um, I still felt that I don't need it. and I actually would crave, yeah, chickpeas rather than rather than meat, simply because I
Yeah,
was used to it. I mean, that's the point, isn't it? What you're used to is something that will form your emotions about something.
yeah,
So
exactly.
make sure you get used to it. So buy lots of stuff, have it storing at home, and make a use of it, make a habit. It has to come here first with decision. Emotions will come later.
Yeah, I completely understand that. Actually, what I learned, I don't know if you can confirm that, it's like we're all basically emotion eaters. Like
Oh yeah.
uh, we have like social habits, we have the familiarity of tastes, of textures, of certain dishes like your grandma used to make or your favorite aunt used to make, or the like we all have that, and there's all these emotions attached to food, and people are then say me, Wendy, I have all these health issues, I know I should eat healthier, I don't want to go all the way raw, I need to eat healthier, but you know what is the problem? I just cannot do it. I cannot do it. Every time I think about my grandma's dish, or I go there, or like, yeah, but how do you deal with that?
I
Like,
think I think it's similar with kids as well. Don't try to explain too much about it, but just buy some really good, yeah, mangoes if you want to, and cut them up nicely, and make a nice presentation for your kids, and they will love it, and they will prefer it over some factory snacker, Snicker or whatever, because
yeah, that's
it's
what I think.
usually
Yeah,
kids do that. Usually kids, if there are strawberries and you have, I don't know, rice with sauce or whatever, they will pick the strawberries. And sometimes we tell them, no, don't, this is for dessert, and we're so stupid, but
yeah, yeah.
they know much better.
We've been raised the same. No, no, not no. You can have one slice of watermelon after dinner.
Yeah.
And then I go eat like you. I did the same, like you in the morning. At some point, my my main would be basically fruit, and just a little piece of oatmeal and like three walnuts on the top, and that would be like, yeah, and then coconut flakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's breakfast, yeah, it's like this much, like one spoon, but okay. And yeah, for me, yeah, it went exactly it went exactly like that, like but I think it's also different for people who really need to heal an issue, but yeah.
Sure,
Anyway,
sure.
I asked you about like completely being vegan, and you tried some meat, and what it took for me, it took 3 years basically, because I've been growing up with huh
Okay.
meat and sandwiches like that. So for me, it took, not that
Uh,
I wanted to eat it, because I'm like healing, I'm going detox, I'm going juice fast. You can do it, you can do it. Like 3 years in a row, I brainwashed myself with all the YouTube
well,
videos, like you can do it. But yeah, I noticed that a lot of people I meet, and especially clients, they're like, oh, so actually meat and fish is not good for you, and milk. I say, oh, milk is worse. Like, don't go there. It's
yeah,
just mucus. Don't eat it. Like, and cheese is just mucus with salt. Don't eat it. But yeah, it has this addictive thing in our brain, and I noticed that I had that with fish, especially, and it took 3 years before this little part of my brain's like asking me, Wendy, go to the fish over there, go get yourself some fish, and like the other 90% is like, yeah, duh, never, I'm a vegetarian now, like I was really strong, and I was like, no way that we're actually gonna do it. But my body physically was like making water in my mouth, and it was like, oh, just do it one time. So yeah, I mean, like growing up vegan must be, yeah, completely different, and I think it's pretty cool of your
the,
father and your mother to let you try meat. I mean, yeah, I wonder how to do that with Keon, if he's gonna really want to try it, if I should say like, no, don't do it, or like, go ahead, I don't know. I'm still in doubt there.
the
You got
more
any?
the more I grow up, the more I realize just how privileged we were as kids. I didn't realize at that time, but also, if I look back how I transitioned from actually from because when I left home, I actually fell back to vegetarian, and I was vegetarian maybe, yeah, almost 10 years before a vegan girlfriend brought me back to veganism again. She was doing it mainly for the animals, not so much for health. But
Yeah.
I remembered all the old stuff from my parents, and I would ask them, and oh, can you give me a good recipe with, kidney beans or whatever? And I would start doing this stuff myself at home. Before that, I didn't have any fun in the kitchen. I just didn't, I had stuff for breakfast at home, and I had some noodles with sauce, but that was basically it. But what I want to say is that my transitioning from vegetarian to vegan again, and from vegan then to raw vegan again, has the same kind of principles that you describe, of wanting, but then being drawn to, and then making an exception, and then hitting yourself on the head of it for it, and then trying again, and processes of, years. And basically the principle is the same. What is the same thing? It probably doesn't matter if you go from meat to non-meat, or if you go from vegan to raw food vegan,
Yeah. Yeah.
because like you said, we feel with our gut, and we feel with our brain, and food does stuff with us. Additionally, meat has a lot of adrenaline, right?
Yeah.
Because those animals, they have a lot of adrenaline just before they're killed. And so
Yeah.
meat has this stimulating effect in our body. And many of these people, I understand, I can't say from my own experience, but this fact does convince me, many people are addicted to the stimulation. Yeah.
Yep. Well, I can confirm that. Actually, I tried to go not vegan but vegetarian. I didn't even know that there were two words. I just didn't want to eat animal meat, and I just didn't want to eat animals anymore. And I was not eating cow milk for a very, very long time. Like occasionally some sheep cheese, or with
Yeah,
some
yeah.
from some farm where I would go and it would like, oh yeah, I can accept these sheep living like that, okay, I can drink that, I can make the cheese, like something that would be acceptable for me. But I can really confirm that there are properties in this meat, adrenaline, but maybe also some other hormones, because for me, stopping the meat not raw, so normal vegetarian, was really hard, like almost impossible. I would just quit the cold turkey, and everybody would say, go have some legumes like kidney beans and rice and all that. So I buy that. And then they say, yeah, you can have like fake burger. And that was like, ugh. So, and soy, it turns out I'm super not, like, I cannot even digest anything from soy. I didn't know that. And all these legumes want to make me belly pain. And oh, it was really terrible.
Oh,
And I would, and I was pretty anemic, and I knew that it was for years, and it was really bad. And I'm not going eating iron tablets all the time. I had some of these natural things that hopefully did something, but back then I just thought I didn't see the point in eating animals anymore. Like, I don't want to support the industry, and
yeah,
why
sure.
am I actually eating it? I mean, it tastes okay, but other stuff tastes okay too. So what does it matter? But
Quite.
for me, I think that because after a week, I would just see animals as food, and after a week, I would just, it was really scary. Like, I would just go someplace and I would just see cows, and it was like, oh, you can eat steak. And then see doves in the garden, like, or you can just make that, and it would just go in my head all the time. It's very annoying if you want to be vegetarian, and all these thoughts come, and you see, like, and then I was just going crazy, and I thought, oh, I can do that. I can, you know what, Wendy? Go to the supermarket, buy yourself some meat, because this is not going very well. And then in the end, it turned out I have a gigantic B12 deficiency.
Mm.
Yeah. So when I got pregnant, my midwife said that to me, and she gave me these melting tablets for in your mouth, and like methylcobalamin. And you know what? All of a sudden, I got all this more energy. I'm like, okay, okay. I mean, I was really bad. I had a tough pregnancy, but uh, I was feeling a whole lot better with that. And I did the test, and it was fine and fine. And then later, I transitioned to another supplement with lots of resveratrol, and
Mm.
and raspberries and grapes.
Mm-hmm.
Raspberry grapes, cumin. And basically, I ate that next to going almost raw, and like, okay, I was 6 out of the 7 days vegan. You know what I mean? And I was like, I'm doing it, you know. But yeah, it turned out then I could, and then all of a sudden I went raw. You think there was any problem with B12 or iron or anemia? No way. And I was like,
Okay.
wow, I'm eating the wrong foods. And all of a sudden I was like, well, a month in my detox, I'm like, oh, I went vegan. I did it. I always wanted to do that. So
Okay.
yeah, but for me, I think that also when we speak about adrenaline, but also some other hormones, plus like B12 and some other things that are basically in the meat blood and are for our bodies to be used. Even though it's making super acidic, I think I was just surviving on that. And I think it's very good to know that now. I mean, there are so many people struggling and trying to eat meat again, and it's good for them to know what is pulling it. So I think you're lucky, growing up vegan chef dad, and mom going raw. So we thank you, mom.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Credit
So
where
yeah, you
credit is
didn't.
due.
But yeah, there is a different thing. Oh yeah, okay. And my mom coming in to see to check me. All right, I got lots of people coming in, watching and going and watching and going. So you
Oh,
guys, if you
hello,
wanna
everybody.
ask, you can say something. You can write something in the chat over there. That's cool. All right, so 3.5 years, right? And I went to your festival in Austria in September. Yes,
Mm,
last
yes.
year. So when did you start with the idea to organize an event on raw foods?
Yes. So 2019, we did our very first festival in springtime. And in 2018, um, just two of our team, so my mom and myself, we were in Copenhagen at the food festival. And we were
Oh,
super excited about what's happening there and super excited about this lifestyle. And yeah, and there were a couple of people at that time, 2018, that wanted to come with us but couldn't make it. And they said, oh, come on, when you come back, why don't you make a festival here? So the actual idea was not even ours or mine at all. It was just, you come back and we make a good weekend and we, buy lots of fruit and veg and you just explain to us what happens. So people who just wanted to live healthy and many of them already living a vegan lifestyle, and they were just excited about this new stuff that apparently works.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So our first festival in 2019 in spring was basically just friends. So we were maybe with organizers, we were 15 people up at
Yeah.
in the same cabin as that you were, and that was
Oh yeah.
great. And then we said, okay, we're gonna do that next springtime as well. 1 year after 2020 springtime, like March, April. But obviously, that didn't work out. But my mother was hopeful enough to say, okay, let's postpone it immediately to September. There's a free slot, and let's try. Let's see what happens. And it did work out. We got a window last summer. We could go to the English Fruit Festival, and especially there, people were very excited that we were putting on a festival, and that encouraged us. So, oh, okay. And then even some people said, okay, we're gonna come, all the way over to Austria, which was pretty
Oh
cool.
my God, I can imagine. Yeah,
And then
I
we're
can
like,
imagine.
okay, we've got 8 weeks to make, a small family festival, a big one like this, and to make it in 2 languages, and to organize much more food, and to make it more professional. And oh yeah, and maybe you want to have a web page of some sort. So I started with Facebook, and all these things, bum, 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 happen. So those were
Yeah,
the
yeah.
stressiest weeks of my life so far.
Well, I actually looks very familiar what you're saying.
But
But
it was
yeah,
worth it.
so
It was worth it. It was so
it's
good.
worth it, huh? Yeah, yeah. So people are super happy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Super cool. So it's interesting that you say that because the same happened actually for Dutch Fruit Festival. We had a bunch of Dutch people over in UK saying, "Oh, I want to do that. Why don't we do that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I thought about that last year, but I don't want to do that alone. You know, it's just me. I just need like." Let's just have like 3, 4, 5 people so that at least for 5 of us, and we can divide some tasks and just not I'm traveling the world. I don't have a home. I want to see this, I want to see that. So actually I flew to Thailand with the idea in January, and there I proposed my idea, and exactly what you said, but mine was in Thailand, and there were like people, yeah, we're coming. So I was like, what? And we had our Dutch Fruit Festival in 2019 for the first time,
Ah,
and we had 14 nationalities. We had people
wow.
from Australia, USA, Canada, UK, France, Spain, Slovakia, Slovenia, Poland. Like at some point, I just like, oh
Wow.
yeah, we have people from the Netherlands and Belgium too. Germany, of course. So yeah, at some point we yeah you lost track, but yeah, and I also agree. Coming to Austria for us as well, it was really worth it. For me, it was just you know it's like being among your friends, even if you half of them you haven't met or 90% of them you haven't met. So I don't know how it's for you, but for me it's like, oh, I can relax, somebody makes my food, we can listen to other people talking about what we already know, but it's good to be reminded of. And there's always somebody doing some awesome sports, right? So yeah, yeah, that happened. So
And
you're going to
and one
and
more cool thing, the kind of people who do this lifestyle are a very interesting bunch of people because usually they are very friendly. They are quite clever because they read for themselves, they kind of like to know what is and not just what's told. And also, that makes them very interesting in a number of other subjects as well. So cool to get to know such people. But thirdly, they are usually stable enough within themselves to actually talk to anybody, even if they have a completely different view upon anything, and are able to actually be interested, to not just let it stand, but actually be interested in what you have to say, because they want to learn, because they're curious. And this is rare, So I appreciate that a lot about these festivals.
mm-hmm.
Put it a little bit in the
Yeah,
shade so it doesn't get hot so
yeah,
much.
that's good. That's good. Well,
It's already hot. Ah,
yes, that makes us fruitarians like a special kind of people. Is
yes, a special kind of friendly, knowledgeable, and yeah, peaceful people. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I think a lot of it's also a happy crowd.
Hmm.
Like everywhere you come, like people are always happy and happy to come and happy to share and
Happy to
enthusiastic and
help.
happy to help. Yeah, yeah, me too. Yeah, why not? I mean, that's just me. Why not? If I support the philosophy, I rather help. I mean, like, okay, sometimes passive is good, but joining the fun is also super cool. So I'm really glad that you're coming to the Netherlands and joining our fun and doing some
Today,
active things with you.
today I found out that actually, because I'm from Germany, I do not have to do a test and I do
Yeah.
not have to do anything, I can just go. So I'm super
Yes,
happy.
yeah, yeah, it's the same. Even people from USA, they can just get a plane ticket and come here and have a holiday and go back. No problem.
Wow. Yeah, no chance here in this country, but
So yeah,
kudos to you.
yeah, so I'm like, Yay! People can come. So yeah. Like even Louise from Denmark, she was kind of worried, but you could just fly or think of
Awesome.
the car, and yeah. So people come in for France, which is also just open. It's just super cool. So we'll probably not be so international outside Europe this year, but that will not spoil our fun. I guess will be just as special and awesome as it was the other day. So yeah, I'm looking at the time and I don't want to keep you up too long, but maybe you can share when's the next festival you're doing?
The festival is going to be from 1st till 5th of September. And it's going to be in Austria, in a part that is very close to the German border in the north of Austria. And it's called Bogenhofen. It's a super tiny village, Bogenhofen, and it actually is a boarding school. So similar to the Danish festival, they also did boarding schools. I think it's actually quite a cool concept because you've got places for people to stay, you've got places to do talks, and usually you've got a nice big kitchen to do stuff in.
Yeah.
So this is how it's going, and the staff there are actually already quite excited to learn something about raw food. And
there is staff there as well.
yes, it's before season, so I think a week later or 2 weeks later, the students will come for the next term. But the staff that already lived there for the time of our festival are actually going to live raw as well, because the kitchen is just going to do raw.
Oh, super cool.
So,
super cool. Yeah.
but it really is interesting that way. And yeah, just yesterday we had a staff meeting and trying to organize some details and so on. And I'm really excited about having the festival in this campus because it's super big, it's super out in the remote nowhere, so it's nature all around. Sadly, not mountains, but it's beautiful. And yeah, and I'm really excited because we've got lots of space, so I do not think we will reach our limits. We've got plenty of rooms and we've got the ability to do camping. So please all come. It'll be awesome. Yeah.
Right. Well, I think I can make it. Yeah, I think I'll do that.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Bring Kia.
Yeah. Maybe he can share something about raising food kids. But yeah, we have to do a 10-minute talk, I think, for 8-year-old.
Yes, please.
Okay. Let's do it. Let's see if he wants to go to the Dutch Fruit Festival. He comes on Wednesday. So yeah. All right. Thank you for sharing all these details.
Thank you.
Is there anything I forgot that you really want to share today?
Please do come to the Dutch Fruit Festival because I think it's going to be pretty awesome. Benedict and me are going to come with the car. We're going to drive all the way up there, and I can't wait. I mean, it's less than 2. Yeah, it's less than 2 weeks now, right? So it's like 10 days or something.
No, it's the 12th.
Pretty close.
It's the 12th, so it's less than 2 weeks, but it's the 12th. And we're 29th, so it's like 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
It's exactly
fair enough.
2 weeks. Yeah. So yeah, so people, if you're watching this video, we still have a few spots left. That's because people keep coming and canceling, coming because of Corona lockdown countries.
Okay.
So we have 1 room available for a couple and two beds available, 1 for a woman and 1 for men. So we can have 4 more people if it's possible, or not.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so we only have 4 left. And yeah, if you want more info, feel free to check out our website, which is dutchfruitfestival.nl. Or feel free to contact me. My name is Wendy. You can contact me through email, wendy@dutchfruitfestival.nl. And thank you for watching. And Raphael, thank you so much for sharing your going raw story, and hope to see you soon in less than 2 weeks.
Yes. And if anybody wants to reach me, you can reach me on Facebook as Raphael. You can also reach the festival in Facebook, Festival Frische Fruechte. Yeah, or just ask Wendy.
Yeah, and then we will make sure that you have a website after the Dutch Food Festival because I'm too busy now.
Yes, that would be awesome.
You get the website.
Okay, okay.
All right. Have a really great evening and thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Bye-bye.